Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties. I would appreciate it if anyone watching from whatever source you are at, try giving a comment, please, in whatever comment facility that you have. Whoops, I've got my... Oh, wow, I've got the live feed talking to me. I forgot to turn off the... Yeah, let's fix that. Okay, anyway, what we have going today, ladies and gentlemen, is the second date of return for the Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties. We got started last week, 7 days ago, on the subject of Hangouts and where we're going and the experience of what we're losing in the transition for Google, transferring Hangouts to YouTube, and what we potentially can gain in the process, because inevitably we're going to make the move. Everyone's going to make the move. But the important thing is what we are going to do in this new environment. I'm over the concept of like, gee, we're going to lose the event page, and gee, this is going away, and the comments this and comments that. It's all about now, how are we going to rectify the problems that Google has handed us, and how are we going to make the best of this new world? So we've been doing a lot of experimenting, and there are a lot of things coming out. Plus, there are a lot of new apps and new platforms and programs coming out every day. So we're going to be commenting on a few of those things and so forth, and making it a conversation. It's very important to me to include the people in the audience from everywhere that we can. But although we do have Comment Tracker working today, I want to primarily focus the comments from two places, and I'll explain in a little bit, because having comments from too many places does a lot of things that are somewhat destructive. And the problem with it is mainly the people in the audience can't talk to each other if they are spread over too many resources. So the ideal situation is if the conversation is all in one place. And the second ideal concept would be the two sources that most people like, and integrate the two sources. So we have, if at the most, two split conversations going on, it's somewhat controllable. So anyway, now that I've greeted you folks and said hi from Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties, I guess I should tell you who I am. My name is Roland from Init Mobile and R&D Hotline, and I have two co-hosts today to help out with the discussion, and I'd like to introduce them this time. Our regular show host that accompanies me every week, Molly Youngblood Geiger. Come on and say hi and give us a real brief idea of the glorious things happening in your life.
Yeah, so my name's Molly. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. The name of my agency is Design Right For You, and participate in the Google Partners Program, also the Hangouts Help Forum, where I am a rising star, and also certified badged partner, Google partner. So I'm excited about today's conversation. Obviously, Hangouts is one of my favorite products that Google has, and I'm excited about talking about the discussion this afternoon.
Okay, and also with us today, one of my favorite people to add to our green room, because he's so knowledgeable, but above and beyond that, he's probably a person contributing more to the online streaming hangout world than anybody that I know. And he's Andrew Hatchett, in charge of the live to live, user to user live community. Sorry about that.
No problem.
And when you get an opportunity, please post the link in the comment stream so that people can go there and see what you do, and possibly join up and get some benefit from the community, because it's a great community. And thank you. Andrew, say hi.
Good morning, everybody, afternoon or evening, wherever you may be. And Roland, thanks for the kind words. Basically, I run the user-to-user live community. My specialty is Hangouts on Air. I have no mobile stuff, so I know nothing about that part of it and don't care to know anything about it. But Hangouts on Air, yes. Right now, I'm trying to find a replacement for the events page, as most people are. I'm not that much interested in how people promote things, that's up to them. I don't try and tell them how to do that. It's I tell them which buttons they need to push, which fields they need to fill in, how to avoid certain problems, that type of thing. I will, in a minute or two, add the link to the user-to-user community in case anybody wants to come by and join. We're there. I do 2 shows a day, 30 minutes a day, live Q&A sessions, and that's basically it. I'm here to tell you what I have found out in looking at some of these things that Roland's going to mention.
Thank you, Andrew. And there's a lot going on, and I'm probably going to go off on a dozen tangents today. And what we want to do before we go too far is I'm going to come back to you, Molly, in a moment, and talk about your potential promotion to top contributor, which is enacting within the next week or so. And also, we should mention that Andrew Hatchett just became a top contributor himself. So, other than myself, we're the Google clan today, and really, really glad to have you folks here. And I'm really proud of the fact that you'll be on this show and share the knowledge and the perspectives that you have. So, thank you very much. Before I go on any further, I want to just rattle off a few names of people who have been showing up and interacting and talking beforehand. We had people check in. Barbara Quick is going to try to be here. Cesar Casadante. And by the way, Cesar, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, please let me know, because there are a lot of ways to pronounce what your name is written as there. But I appreciate that you are checking in to watch the replay, and thank you very much. And WeWake, of course, is out there on purpose, and he's going to be commenting in the comment streams for us and controlling the external conversation. Gary Whalen is there. Thank you for showing up, Gary. Appreciate you being here. Michael Thomas checked in, but he's not going to be able to be here during the event. He's going to come back and watch the replay. He's always here, and he always contributes greatly. And then, let's see, Lolan Fulsang is in the audience, and she was in the green room with us last week and had lots to contribute. And let's see, there's a few others. Bill Graham, thank you very much for showing up, Bill. Nice to see you. So, and Lon McClure is there. He's checked in. So these are all people that I value the opinion of. And thank you very much for showing up. There are a few other people that checked in, and I'm hoping that you will get to watch the replay. And all I can say is, Jay, you don't have to check in twice. Jay Neal checked in twice, so he took our count from 20 to 21 people because he checked in double. Oh, there's Roz Betts. So it's great to see the familiar faces and the people who are meaning something to the reason that we have this show. And the fact that you come back from week to week and repeatedly and watch the replays, that means a lot to me. I'd rather have that than have 500 people that show up every other month or something like that. And it means that we're delivering some value here and something that's current and of worthiness to be something that you'll want to watch in spite of the fact that you may not be completely into the subject or whatever it is. You're going to come watch the show anyway, and hopefully you're having a little fun at the same time. I'm a real stickler when it comes to marketing about a few things. I'm an inbound marketer, and of course the lower third that I'm displaying there is the JV partnership that I'm developing with WeWake, Bandor Rao, because it's called Init Mobile and an inbound marketing, inbound internet technologies for mobile age. In other words, we promote the concepts of mobile marketing and stuff. And I know that, Andrea, you said you weren't doing much on mobile, but all of this stuff is translatable to mobile, and that's why it's so important. In the marketing age, if we're going to do something, it's got to be visible on a phone. I mean, that's the bottom line. It's got to be visible on a smartphone. And it doesn't have to be exclusively, but it has to be one of the ways we are visible. So in the midst of this, we are in this marketing age, and there are some things that I wanted to express just to get them off my chest. Okay? If you're marketing, there are things that I don't believe in. And one of them is to mislead the public or assume that they're stupid. Now, When I say that, I want to give you an idea. First of all, I got an email the other day from someone said, "Hey, I was counting on you to blah blah blah," and it looks like a friend of mine is talking to me, and this person is indeed not a friend. I don't know him. I opted in probably haphazardly to an email list, and now he's talking to me because he's got the idea that he should be genuine, authentic, and one-on-one talk like he's emailing to me personally in my own email, when he's actually blasting 1,000 people or more. And so, to me, that's a modeled lie. And it's easy to be personal if you're personal, and it's easy to fake being personal if you have a few tactics that all the gurus say. Here's how you say it to make it sound like you're real. And to me, either you're real or you're not, and you can't hide. I don't care what you're doing, who you are, you can't hide. So here are a couple people who are trying to fool you. I won't tell you who they are. Someone gave me an email. I've never bought anything from these people, but they wrote me and said, "A free ebook because we miss you." Well, they don't miss me. They don't know when I show up or not. I'm a statistic somewhere, but I mean, that's a lie. That's one of the lies of marketing. Free ebook because we miss you. Here's another one. I love this. Encore performance of the webinar. Now, they had a webinar, they had people show up, and if it was worthy of business interaction, they'd be so busy they don't have time for an encore. Why did they have an encore? Because they didn't work the first time, so they're trying to get some mileage out of the webinar, and they're having an encore. What a, you know, come on back, people who did this, and tell me I'm wrong. But I think that's a lie. And it bugs the crap out of me that people can't be straight. If you put together a bad webinar and if it's of no value, then fess up to it and say, okay, we created something that is of no value to people, or not enough for them to call us back, inquire, or buy this product. So our webinar was a failure. Face it. Don't put an encore performance hoping you fool a couple more people into buying your product. So this is all part of a marketing strategy that they call a funnel. And they'll give it, no, we call it this, no, we call it that. It's a funnel. Okay? Now, in the midst of a funnel, of course I believe in the concept of a funnel, but I believe that you should be guiding people to their decision because they want to make that decision, not because it's the only choice on the books, or they feel bad if they didn't make that choice. The idea of the proper funnel is when they get down to the bottom, they're looking you in the eye, and face to face they're saying, yeah, this makes sense. It's the best option, and for me, it's the only option. So one of the things that I wanted to stress was a funnel is a waste of time if your product or service is worthless. So people, work on your product and service and forget about the funnel. Make sure your product is worthy of being purchased. Then talk to me about how to promote it. But don't jump into the marketing scheme, especially the outbound marketing schemes of today, and get caught up in the lies of marketing, because they're going to come back to bite you. So, okay, that's off my chest. Took about 5 or 10 minutes on that, and I feel better. Thank you very much. Now, Molly, let's go back to you, and we're going to talk about what are some amazing things going on. I know that you're going to the Googleplex in a few days, and a lot going on. So now you get to air your thoughts.
Yeah, actually,
Go
I'm
ahead.
going out to the Google headquarters late September for the Rising Star Top Contributor. This year it's a meetup. What that is it's a gathering of all the rising stars and top contributors in North America. Now, normally for a meetup, it's a little more low-key. Meaning they're not going to be doing breakout sessions, but it's actually a biannual event. So next year they'll actually have the summit, which is a little more keyed up. They tend to talk about latest things, latest changes with Google, marketing strategies, product updates, things of that nature. So I'm pretty excited. I've been invited out there before. I just haven't had a chance to get out there, but I am ready to go. Plane ticket is registered, hotel room is booked, and I'm actually excited because I'm going to be getting to meet a former director of small business. So he's the guy responsible for creating the Google Partners Community, Google Small Business, and the Official City Partners Program. So if you guys are not familiar with those platforms, it's a Google-ran community called the In-Advertiser Community. It houses 4 different groups, specifically Google Partners, Google Small Business, AdWords, Analytics, and Get Your Business Online. So I'm really excited about that, participating over in that forum. There's a lot of expertise over there and interesting things to be shared. But yeah, I'm really excited to be number one, be invited, and number two, a couple of the fellow RSs and TCs have messaged me saying, "Hey, are you coming this year?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to be there." So I'm going to get an opportunity to meet some of these people that I've only met online and get to hang out with them in real life. So I think that'll be a very beneficial experience.
That's very cool. Well, we have to understand something too. Perception is everything. And they call you a Google rising star. But indeed, if you are a star, you're already in orbit, and we are just realizing it right now. So you're already still in your orbit, moving in the whole flux of what you're doing automatically. And the people around you are just going, "Oh, look, a rising star." They're seeing you for the first time, but you are who you are, and you're something pretty special. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah, thank you, Molly. I appreciate that, and we'll be looking for your expertise. Maybe this is a good time to talk about. Do you have any insights from the Google communities that you're involved in regarding Hangouts and what we've been? You've of course listened to the conversations going on in the show last week of what we've been saying about Hangouts and what we think from the field. What does the experts say? What is the inside word?
This has been ongoing for the last couple of years. Originally Google Plus was kind of a hub for all the Google products, and if you've noticed over the last couple of years, they've kind of been decommissioning things slowly. So to have Hangouts decommissioned from Google Plus really was not a big surprise for me. A lot of people got really worried, like, "Oh no, it's not on Google Plus anymore. What am I going to do? It's on YouTube." I can understand the disconnect in terms of you're used to it being on Google Plus, but at the same time, I can see why Google decided to disconnect it from Google Plus because, if you think about it, Hangouts, especially Hangouts On Air, it's a form of video marketing. Well, their video platform is on YouTube. So, if you think about it from that perspective, it does make sense for them to switch it over. I tend to keep up with things like this. I do a lot of research about them. One of the things that I noticed, and this actually has to do with one of the new apps that they have released, Duo, if you haven't heard about it. It's a new app. It's more of a peer-to-peer video messaging system. So it's fairly new. It's only been out maybe 2 or 3 weeks at this point. They had made an announcement late spring that if you were interested, you could sign up to get pre-registered for Duo. So what I think Google's doing in terms of that is they're taking their video marketing platform and they're making it personal, but at the same time they're making it business-like. In fact, I read an article where Google actually mentioned that in terms of a business using Hangouts, that it made more sense to shift that over to YouTube because you can still have people watch the live event, you can still have people join the green room. But from a personal perspective, in terms of video chatting with somebody, they decided to use the app, and I think that goes back into mobile. I personally am a big fan of mobile. That's one of the things, according to their keyword or their performance summit, back in May, that Google's focus right now is mobile and artificial intelligence. So I think when you look at it from that perspective, I can see why they made the move to kind of separate Hangouts into more of a business video conferencing platform, and then came up with the Duo app in terms of a more peer-to-peer or friend-to-friend type of messaging system.
Absolutely. And the only the thing that I've been questioning about any of this is that what are the overlaps and how are the integrations? And when in the process, if they're going to remove Hangouts from Google Plus, how does that change the chat interaction within Google Plus? And apparently they're still going to have video chat and they're still going to have text chat. And by the way, they have a new app that came out. And let me see if I can get mine and show everybody with a screen share. I've got, I don't even have just a split screen. I've got two screens divided up about 3 or 4 ways each, so I've got all this stuff going on. But this is the app. I'll show this screen first. This is the Google Chat app, and it's integrated so that you can launch videos and chat within this realm. So, for instance, if I wanted to chat with Lynn Sanders here, I would click on this. Oh, I've already got a window open. Let's say if I wanted to talk to Dr. Margaret, it would pop the chat up in this stream, and I could interact with her in this main stream there. Or I could go up to this arrow here and pop it out. And if I popped it out, it would become something that I could put wherever. And so now you can see I've got my 4 chats that were existent before I got Dr. Margaret going, and now I can take hers and put it wherever I want to, and I can have a full screen of chats going on and so forth. And then the other thing is, I haven't tried it yet, but you can add people to the individual chats so that you can have a conversation with 3 or 4 or 5 people chatting at one time. Then, of course, you can also see that they offer the video window there that automatically takes you basically into a Hangout. So it's the very same interface and still uses Hangouts. So, you know, they say Google Plus is completely dividing itself from Hangouts. But it's got to be clear that we still have video integration so that we can communicate via video chat, which I do daily. I do this every day right through my Google and Gmail interfaces. So the new format is pretty cool, and I like it a lot, and it simplifies things, and now it organizes everybody who I have online. It shows the entire list of everybody in my circles who is online, and most recent communications are all rising to the top. So it is a pretty good facility. I just wanted to show that to everybody. You can get the app, and we could probably post the links to that. I was going to be a bit more prepared than I was, but go ahead, Molly. You had something to add to this?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I would also mention that they can, in addition to accessing Hangouts from Gmail, that you can also access Hangouts from the official Hangouts website. It's, you know, if you're on the go and maybe you don't want to bother to open up the Gmail app, you can just go to your browser and just type Google Hangouts official website and access Hangouts from there as well.
Correct. And via that page, you can still launch a Hangout on Air. At this time, you can still launch a Hangout on Air. So I don't know how they're going after the 12th, whether that's going to be. I mean, I assume that it's still going to be there as Hangouts.
I'm a firm believer that change is necessary. Without change, we're not going to evolve. And that's one thing that since I've been following and participating with Google, that, if you're going to hang with them, just accept the fact that things are going to change around. That's just how they work. They are constantly getting feedback from users, beta testers, top contributors, rising stars. And that's the whole point, is they want feedback from people, because then that's how they improve their product. So I know this is like new for everybody, and it's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like I did a presentation earlier this week at Southeast Toyota, and the presentation was about Google Drive, doc sheets, slides, and forms. And the whole purpose of the presentation, it was a 4-hour class, if you will, was because one of their higher ups had decided, well, we're going to move over to Google Drive. And they're like, okay, we have no idea how to use Google Drive. We've been using Microsoft Office and Excel. So with that being said, it's kind of a similar situation where it's new. It's something they're having to retrain themselves. But, with Hangouts, I don't see them ever going away. I mean, it's something that obviously there's a purpose to having Hangouts. It's a form of communication. I just see it shifting. I see it shifting towards a different model. So I think if we think of it from that perspective, that it's changing, and it's not gonna be the way it was. But look to the future and look at, well, how are they improving that for me as a user? So I think if you take that into account, that's kind of my mindset on what they're doing with Hangouts right now.
Very good. So, I mean, that basically reinforces that Hangouts are not going away. And we're going to bring up something of the conversation regarding that concept and versus the new things coming out, like Facebook Live, for instance, and Fire Talk. And we're going to do a little conversation and the comparison of those things in a little bit here. But before we go on, I wanted to just display, since I got Comment Tracker working so well, that Roz Betts was saying it's a little confusing using the two screens. So I'm actually going to do a screen share here just to demonstrate how I run the Hangout concept and how I'm running my two screens for operating within the Hangouts. And this way you can see you have this full-on Hangout hanging on half the window that I mean half the screen that I'm looking at. You can see how white it is there. I've got things behind it too. But so many times I'm talking to somebody and get into a Hangout and they say, let me ask us something on the web. So they go onto the web and they say, now I can't find you again. You disappeared. I can hear your voice, but you disappeared. Well, I didn't disappear and I didn't go anywhere. It's just that the window you're looking at is hiding the window that has the image of the Hangout that you're in. So the reason I do the side-by-side concept and so forth is that I can have the access to the browsers here and still be in the Hangout window here. So I can do two things at once. And then if I'm looking at the comment stream, let's imagine that the right side of my screen, or actually let's do it actually. I'm going to take the window of the YouTube Hangout and put it over there. Now I can't even see what I'm displaying, but I'm assuming, Molly and Andrew, that we have the event over here with the live YouTube feed, and then on this side we have, that's inbound, in mobile. So we're back to the event page here, and so if I want to go to the comment stream, I don't have to have the video showing. Wow, it's actually displaying there. What happens if I'll be danged. Apparently, my AdSense account kicked in, and I'm able to put that video in another page. I'm just really confused. But anyway, when you have the two screens like this, I can watch the video on the right side, and then I can also comment over here and be able to converse with everybody that's in the comment stream. And you can either do that with YouTube and the comment stream, or now, of course, I've kind of solved the problem temporarily because it's feeding live into the event page, so it's functioning normal. But in the near future, we may not be using the event page. We have to find an alternative that works. So the whole issue is basically going to be to have an equitable comment that's easy and you can watch the video at the same time. So right now we're using workarounds and strategies, and I hope that you bear with us, but the main thing I was making it a suggestion for people so that you can find a way to be effective in the comments and watch the video at the same time. So let me know if it remains confusing. I'll be more than happy to get together with you and work on the whole concept of windows. One of the things that people will do all the time is they make the Hangout window or the whatever the window's in front when they're talking to somebody, they make it full screen, and then all the rest of their windows are full screen. So as soon as they access a different window, it's completely hidden the video screen. So you think, gee, they're lost, but it's not lost. It's just hiding behind the screen that you're looking at. So that's a concept that people will get after a while. I'm rambling, but anyway, uh, Andrew, I wanted to go over to you now and talk about some of the experimenting that you did, uh, and you jumped right on this. I heard this the day after you did, I believe, because what was his name in your community? The fellow that's been doing so much good side work, but he presented to us the concept of unified chat, and unified chat is something that can be used in Google Hangouts and has its value. And after reviewing it, I decided it wasn't, excuse me, it wasn't necessarily something that I might incorporate uh, into Hangouts, into my show or productions or what I'm doing. However, there is value to the app, so people are going to be hearing about this thing called unified chats, and maybe you can take the helm here, Andrew, and talk about it because you did about the most uh, research of anybody that I know.
Okay, basically, unified chat replaces the regular chat that's in a you know regular hangout. It has bubble things for the conversation. It's a very pretty app, very pretty app. It would have had more impact, I think, had it come out earlier before Google re-added chat back to the new Hangout call interface. Before they did that, this app would have been perfect to replace that. You can still use it, but it doesn't save the chat after the thing is over. It's just like the Google Live event chats, they go away. For me and most of my crowd, that doesn't serve a good purpose. We want the comments retained. So that's basically what I'm trying to do. I mean, just like in the event page, it's always there. You can go back to it. You can read it. Uh, like I say, Unified Chat's great. You can copy and paste it out and save it, but it doesn't save. Um,
I've got a screen share that I can add to this.
yeah, if you
Andrews.
would, that would
Let's
help
see here.
for those that haven't seen it. Uh, and one thing that is really confusing is how you set it up. Because you have to go to your YouTube side, get a link, add a certain code to the back of the link, put that in a new browser bar, activate that, which takes you to the Unified Chat website, and there you set up your chat room. Even though, you know, it goes back and is saved on YouTube, the video part, not the unified chat part. But you set the actual chat room up on the Unified Chat website. I played with it. It's a lovely app. I find no practical use for it myself. That doesn't mean others may not.
Yeah,
No.
so here we're just displaying the screen capture of you doing a test run with the unified chat integrated on the right-hand side. It's very reminiscent of two things, Crowdcast and also Business Hangouts.
Hmm.
Both have the side chat like that. And I do see the value of that. That's the way Blab was set up, and that was a handy thing when you're in Blab and doing the communications within, and be able to communicate with the people in the audience at the same time. So there are definitely things to consider as far as recommending new developments for Hangouts, whether they might incorporate something like this, or there might be some add-on apps that eventually they see fit to make available. But they've got a long way to go. But I think that they're coming because people are now going to be working on it more and more.
Oh yeah, with Google doing away with the event page eventually, probably, that's going to open up a whole new market for these little developers to try and fill that niche as a replacement thing. I mean, we've already seen it, starting. There's this unified chat. There's a Zenler out of India. They're working on a wrapper package type deal too. So it's going to open up some new opportunities for some new people. Yeah,
Sounds
it's
good.
worth keeping an eye on. I'll be interested to, like I say, I don't see a use for me right now, but I'm going to continue to follow it, see what happens with it.
Sounds good. I wanted to display something really quickly regarding the YouTube page, because although I haven't been focusing on it because the chat doesn't stay, I will make the note here. I hope you can see this, that there's a conversation going on in YouTube that I really wish I could say. Look at all these people commenting. And there's Roz Betts, Bill is over there, Margarita, Crystal Lotus is over there, Lon McClure is there, Roz Betts again. We wake because I asked him to. Michael Daniels, hello. And Richard Clarkson is over there. So all these people are commenting over on the YouTube side. Now, just to make it clear, and I apologize for this because I have no control, but I have the issue with this, that as far as I know, this conversation ends and disappears at the end of this event. So we have Jay Neal there and so forth. And there are a lot of people over there in YouTube. So let's compare now and go to the event page. We have some of the same people, of course, and we have Scott Scowcroft in the midst over here. Lon is also here, and there's seems to be maybe a little less involvement on the event page of Google Plus than there is on YouTube. Now the real problem is that the conversation over here isn't saved. If it could be saved, this would be of immense value, and it's going to change completely the opinion that I have regarding YouTube and comments. But for whatever reason, YouTube hasn't seen fit to sustain the comments and keep them. And to me, that's the greatest loss and tragedy of switching between the event page and the YouTube resource page. Any comments, Molly?
Yeah, I was going to quickly mention that Google is working on an app to solve that issue. It's called Allo. It has not been released yet, but as I mentioned, Duo, I think it was late April, early May, they have released the opportunity to pre-register, so you can still pre-register for Allo. But right now, Duo, Google's estimated there's about 5 million people already using Duo. So I think that is a big indication that it's something. Yeah.
It's a great app. It's a great app. I talk to my daughter on it all the time. It's an instant on, fast connect, and it works very well.
Right, so from where I'm looking at, so what Google's doing is they've taken Hangouts, which, you're familiar with Hangouts, we're all familiar with Hangouts, but we have to think about the average user. Are they familiar with Hangouts? Probably not. And so what I see Google doing is two things. One, they're simplifying messaging either via video or chat by creating these mobile apps. And two, they are initializing mobile users. Meaning, since most people access information from a mobile device, last year over 50% of searches was done by mobile. This year I think it's like at 85%. I mean, the number is just increasing, just way fast. And so I think when Google made this announcement back at the Performance Summit that, hey, we're focusing on mobile, I think they're also taking a look at their products. And I think with Hangouts, they're kind of using that as a guinea pig. It's like, okay, well, let's take Hangouts and let's make it more mobile friendly. So in terms of that, just a couple of quick mentions that they're also working on the Hangouts Chrome extension is getting a makeover, so it hasn't been released yet. It's going to be released starting August the 31st. So new Google Hangout users will see the new interface, and existing users will be given the option to switch on the same day. On October 15th, the new interface will kick in for every user of the Hangouts Chrome extension. Google is going to be shutting down the Chrome App Store, though, so that's also a quick mention. So right now, it's just it's a time of change. It's something that I strongly encourage you that if you have not pre-registered for Allo, to go ahead and do that, because I think you're going to see the functionality between using Allo and Duo. It's going to familiarize you, like, oh, okay, well, this is just like Hangouts. It's just that we don't use Hangouts. And again, we're talking about personal usage. Business, definitely Hangouts is going to stay intact for businesses. In fact, I think that makes sense, because from a business perspective, well, most businesses conduct business from either a conference room or a laptop, computer. Maybe you've got different people in hotel rooms, or maybe you're contacting a different business. So it makes sense for them to keep Hangouts intact for business owners and users. But in terms of personal, well, it also makes sense to make it mobile or accessible by mobile, and to make it an app, because that's how most people interact on their mobile phones now, instead of search, but they're accessing apps. So I just wanted to quickly make that observation that we're going through a big time of change. Just hang tight. Don't worry. We'll all get through this.
Sounds
Okay,
great.
I'd like to address something.
Sure.
On Allo, is that only for mobiles also?
Yes, Allo is a mobile app that is
Okay,
currently in development.
that's all I needed to know.
Okay.
uh, Going back to the comments being saved on the YouTube side, I'm not surprised that they aren't, because YouTube was not originally created to be a live streaming thing. It was originally created to be a place where people could make their own videos, upload them, and have people watch them and comment on them after they were posted. So the fact that you can't save comments during the live stream doesn't surprise me. In fact, now that Hangouts are changing over, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they actually work to make that happen, because there's been no big demand for it until they got Hangouts switched over to it.
I agree with you 100% on that. And see, this is part of the shift that we're going through, is Google's going to listen to the feedback of users. And if users want that function, probably going to add it. So I agree 100% with you, Andrew, that I think that that's something that, YouTube's another product, so that's evolving, and it definitely is possible that they will add that feature in the future.
And you mentioned one other thing, and that's feedback. If you like something, give feedback and let Google know you like it. If you don't like something, please give feedback, because that does go straight to the engineers and the developers. Most of the top contributors don't see that. It goes straight to, them, and that's the quickest way. And it does work, because look, they did restore chat to the new video call interface, and it was because of the amount of feedback that they got.
Well, and I quickly share for those watching, if you're not sure how to give feedback, this is how you do it. You go to Google, you type whatever product it is, help forum. And then when you enter that help forum, for example, the Hangouts help forum, just to use that as an example, you can go in there and say, I really used to like whatever, or I really think you should add whatever. Another way to give feedback to Google is to go Google Feedback. There's actually a whole platform designed where users can go and make suggestions and comments, product updates, whatever you think you like or don't like, tell Google about it, because they're listening.
So one of the things that were mentioned a minute ago was that Allo may be a supplement to the commenting in YouTube or whatever, and I wanted to bring this up because I had my reservations too, but Michael Daniels says Allo is not an answer to commenting on YouTube. It is yet another text messaging app, only on steroids. Okay, and it's mobile only. So there are limitations to these concepts, and what we are looking at from the marketing standpoint is to bridge the gap between what we're producing, which is probably from a laptop or a desktop computer, so that we can market effectively and coordinate all these things for the purposes of a show or a webinar and this type of thing. and to be able to incorporate it so that people on mobile devices can participate live. So there's got to be a way of integrating those things, and it may be an app and it may be a strategy of how to use these tools. We'll figure it out because, for instance, I even thought myself, if I'm talking to somebody on my mobile device and talking to them on Duo, I would simply put this up here on a rack position, and so I'm not holding it by my hand, but actually on a rack, and I would see the people in my screen, and the people would be watching from the phone camera the screen that we're displaying, so that they would actually see what's going on, and the camera that I'm using would capture their image from their phone. I mean, that is really primitive. That's a primitive thing, but that occurred to me immediately. I could incorporate someone remotely from a smartphone right in the Hangout just because of the Duo app. So there are applications. I'm sure that they're going to streamline that and make it a lot easier than my put it on a stand and stick the phone in front of a camera. But I mean, just the fact that it's possible to do that leads me to believe that there's a simpler solution and there are options that we should be looking for. So thank you for your comment, Michael. I agree with you totally. I did some research on Allo, and I think it's going to be very cool. But you're right; it's just another text message. It's just another messaging app. And so, to me, it wasn't something that should be integrated as a comment stream for a webinar or for Hangouts on Air. But I do think that it's going to be a valuable app. So, and I do think that Duo might find a way to integrate also. So who knows? A lot of comments here. I'm not doing a very good job of collating all of them, but I want to say I wish I could before the event ends. I'm going to literally copy and paste the comments from the YouTube side so that I can preserve them and read them over and see what everybody said. So at this time, we've got 5/6 of an hour gone. Let me see if there was anything else that I wanted to start. Well, let's address this. We know that the live streams are embeddable if you have an AdSense account and if everything else in your YouTube account is straight up and all clear, and you're enabled in the various places. You don't have to have uh, the, 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 the various funding apps and the paid content. You don't have to have that. But to make a video, a live stream video, and to embed it so that you can have it on your website or in your event page or whatever, you do have to have an AdSense account. And if anybody knows, does that imply that that AdSense account has to be active on your website and you have to use AdSense? Or does it just mean you have to have an AdSense account? Because go ahead.
You have to have an active AdSense account. Okay, once I activated mine, and mine just became active not too long before yours now. When I go to watch any of my videos, there, as you know, when you watch videos and you see the little ads come up that you can close, those are now appearing on every one of my videos.
Got it.
Yeah. I don't mind, and you may see them on yours. Now, I have heard, and I don't know how true it is, I have heard that once you do the monetization, do the AdSense, you can then go and turn monetization off. I personally am not going to try that just in case it messes something up. I don't want to mess up my YouTube channel.
So,
And I'm not an AdSense, person in any way. I know nothing about it except I had to do it, So I'm waiting for somebody else to comment whether you can actually turn monetization off after you get your AdSense account.
I don't think that's possible, but I don't believe that the AdSense add-on will be that invasive. So I mean, it's YouTube. They've always been advertising. So I wanted to show you our event page today. Apparently, my AdSense account is clean and ready. So basically this is the event page and the event that we're having right now. And of course a delayed video for a bit, but the main thing is that it shows in the event page the embedded video from YouTube. It wasn't an event generated from Google Hangouts or Google Plus, and that interface. It was completely done from YouTube and then embedded here. So we'll have videos on just exactly how all of that is done, but it's easy enough, and I just wanted to show you that it's possible to do. So there we have enough said on that. And I'm missing some of the internal comments. Does anyone want to have something to add that if what my conversation might be running over you guys? So let's give you a chance to breathe and say what you had on your mind. Okay, that's enough of that.
I was just going to quickly add, I think what Google's trying to do in terms of using AdSense in conjunction with the new platform is just, product integration. They're trying to make more people aware of, well, what is AdSense? Why should I use it? Is it going to benefit me as a user to use AdSense? So, just more or less exposure. As you know, I manage AdWords accounts. So I'm very familiar with advertising on Google and how all that stuff works. But I think it's just more about awareness and trying to make more people aware of what the platform is.
That makes sense. And the other thing is, of course, they present it to you like, you can make money at this. You can get, if you add up all the pennies on the floor or from your piggy bank, you might be able to buy yourself dinner in a year or two. But, I mean, AdSense is not going to make you rich, but it's basically going to make YouTube rich, and that's why they do it. I mean, it's a whole scheme for them to make money and to have a monetization in the scheme that's fairly innocuous and easy to accept for the people, and the money flows to them. So as long as the people are happy playing there, let AdSense have its day, and I'm fine with it. It's all right with me. So apparently we're all set to go, and we will be in the future testing how to embed these in our website, which I can do now, and in the event page, and whether or not there's a good solution to events by adding it to the event page. Andrew, did you have something to add?
Well, I just was going to say, if Google doesn't make their money off of ads and AdSense and that kind of thing, then they're not going to be able to keep providing us with these free services.
Absolutely.
So it is in our interest to help Google make money to continue to give us these free services. Otherwise, they're going to start charging for the services if they want to have a revenue stream. I mean, that's just flat, simple business, Now, granted, I don't want ads thrown in my face 24 hours a day, but still, they've got to be there. They've got to serve. They serve the purpose of giving us free Hangouts.
Just a couple comments to add to what Andrew just said. Google actually has a platform of professionals known as Google Partners. All these people do is AdWords advertising. They're certified. They have a series of tests that they have to pass, and so these. This new wave of AdSense users, a lot of those people are going to have questions. So like Andrew was saying, we have all these free tools, but they have to fund them. So it makes sense to me that, okay, well, their business is selling advertisements, AdWords and AdSense. It makes sense that, okay, well, if I'm going to give you this free tool to be able to use for your business, I'm going to have you use the tool as a requirement in order to get the free service. So going full circle with that, some of these users may not know AdSense. They may not know how to build out a campaign or A/B testing. I could talk about AdWords for the next 3 hours. But my point being is, again, they're using a platform to where if a user is unfamiliar with AdSense and they need to reach out to a professional, I just wanted to quickly mention the Google Partners community or the in-advertiser community. There are professionals there that are able to help those who may have questions about AdSense or AdWords.
Thank you, Molly. And I'm trying to catch up on the job that I assigned myself, and it's a little bit hectic here. But wanted to add these various comments that Michael Daniels said, we use Duo at work for showing our job sites live, and we can show issues or concerns on the live on the side live and quick. In other words, if you're doing a Duo thing and you're talking to a client, you could literally hold your phone up and show the people something about a phone, I mean a business or building or a site or a landscape or whatever it is, a project. You can literally put your phone on it and show the people, this is what I'm talking about. And so if you're doing a remote service for somebody, that's going to be really a great help. And if somebody's on the phone, you can show them immediately, and you can even show them your computer screen. But at least if you need to communicate something, it's a direct communication. Like if you're actually standing there in the room, look at this, look at that. It's an amazing connective device. Michael Daniels also mentioned, I'm going to ask the AdSense TCs when I meet them in September. So he's going to take it over there and put the conversation in your face. Okay. Another thing that I was going to present was
that would be an interesting conversation for sure.
Yeah, and another little factoid from Nathan Siegel. Thank you for showing up today, Nathan. One of my videos went viral, and I earned over $1,300 with AdSense alone. Made something like 1.3 million hits. Well, you know, viral video can do a lot, regardless of whether that you've got the AdSense thing going or not. It's like all about the attention of people and whether or not the influence happens as a result of the video. So congratulations on your viral video. And in as much as it's a possibility for anyone to have a viral anything on YouTube or anything online, it's not usually the common goal of people to hit something viral, because what I've found is a lot of times a viral video or something that you have that goes viral probably has very little to do with your work and your services and what you're trying to do. I mean, otherwise you'd be a rich man before the video went viral. But basically the thing that goes viral is something that affects people emotionally. And a lot of times it has nothing to do with business. So the goal of videos should not necessarily be find a viral aspect. It could be handy, but even then, you should be focusing on the influence and the facility of connecting to people about a very specific subject. It was presented to me through a webinar the other day. People are so concentrating on the concept of broadcasting today. And I wanted to differentiate because what they said was you should not be broadcasting. In the world of niche marketing, in the world of focus, micro focus, of concepts, and micro everything, we should be narrow casting. In other words, there's broadcasting and there's narrow casting. If you want to focus on exactly where your influence is for your service or product, you should be narrow casting. You should be focusing on the primary principle of what your product or service offers and the value thereof, and focus on it. Focus on it, explain it to people, educate them, and narrowcast it. In other words, the whole world doesn't want to know exactly what I do. But there are a few people, the smallest percentage, that need my help, and that's who I should be broadcasting to. So instead of broadcasting, I should be narrowcasting. I hope that makes sense. So the last thing before we close out, and we'll basically end with the subject, I'm going to drop a name, because I followed this guy into the concept of YouTube and internet marketing very heavily, and I came into this. I was watching every video that Daryl Eves put out, and let me know if you guys have ever heard of Daryl Eves. He's pretty big, and I don't mean to say that I disagree with everything he says, but I disagreed with this because he put it out on a Hangout on Air. He recorded a Hangout on Air, and he basically was making the differential between Facebook Live and some of the new platforms and formats, and he said basically, Google Hangouts is yesterday. Google Hangouts is losing ground, and he implied basically that they're falling behind on technology. Now, I'm going to confront the issue and then I'll open up for a couple minutes discussion. I think that they've been, although it's a little rough around the edges, I think that they were way before their time, and they created something that grabbed the business community, and the serious business community is a smaller niche than the general public and Facebook. So that's why it did not help Google Plus turn into a major social media environment, but it was very impactful for the chosen few involved in business. So when you ask somebody who is involved in both Facebook and Google Plus, they would tell you distinctly, Facebook is for socializing and telling people about what you had for dinner and your favorite pet. Google Plus is for business. They would clearly make that distinction between one and the other. And the other thing about Google Plus is it starts with the condition that really started this program, Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties, and launched it almost 2 years ago, and that's the concept of giving first. And you'll notice that the two people in my green room today are top contributors, or almost top contributors, and yeah, which basically implies they are the give first people. They are of the spirit of Google. And I know that there are people who are conspiracy experts and people who think, yeah, Google wants this, Google wants that. They just want to make a lot of money. And let's face it, that's a good business practice if you're any business to make a lot of money. And in the meantime, their principle is to help people. And the principle of life in general, as Zig Ziglar said, we can have everything that we want in this life as long as you'll help enough other people get what they want. So that didn't say, and be sure to charge them along the way, or they, add a price or a fee, or send them a bill. It does not say that. It says go out there and help people. And if you focus on that, everything else is going to come your way. Now, I believe that that's how the world works. I believe and some people, if you're offended by this, tough. But if there is a God out there, and God invented the universe and made Earth and made mankind, He meant it to be that way. It was not about profit. It was not about bottom line. And it was not about charging people. It was about giving. And the fact of the matter is we've got everything that we need right here if we just organize ourselves a little bit. So, enough of pedestal today. Thank you very much. Do I have any other last comments from my constituents in the green room? Anybody want to answer?
No, just one thing. You might want to make a note to yourself that you want to cover the Q&A app on Google Slides at some point.
Yes, I meant to do that today, but we kind of ran out of time.
I know.
And so we will be covering Google Slides. But, as a last thought, I know we're just edging into overtime here. What do you think about what I was saying about Daryl Eves claiming that Google is dropping behind on technology and that everyone's outpacing us? Facebook Live? Fire Talk? That's my vote. But any comments on this stuff?
I haven't looked at Fire Talk or whatever it is. Facebook I don't play on except for my family because it just doesn't meet my needs and never has. I know a lot of people like it. That's their choice. Mine is to avoid it at all costs.
I'm going to agree with both of you. I don't think Google's falling behind on any technology. If anything, I think they're advancing on it, specifically, as I mentioned in our Performance Summit, artificial intelligence and mobile. I think that's why we're seeing a lot of these changes because of those two factors. So I disagree with that statement.
Yes. And to add to it, it feels to me like the small moves that they've been making on the perimeter reinforce the fact that Hangouts are not going away. And the highest resources that I can find say that they are reassured, and that basically it has to do with you and Andrew here, Molly. I mean, the two of you are probably two of the highest resources. And the two of you contribute that Hangouts is going to be around for a while. So it basically takes me, the non-Google person, and tells me that I was on the right track all along, because I was planning on being the last Hangouts hanger-on that we had there if need be, but it sounds like it's going to expand out into something. Andrew?
Yeah, I just want to add one thing. Anybody that thinks that Google is going to do away with visual communication, which is Hangouts, there will always, from here on out, there will always be some sort of visual communication system available through Google. That's a given. That is not going away. They may not call it Hangouts. They could call it, Jim's Tavern's private line or whatever. But video communication is here to stay, and Google will be in the center of it.
Agreed.
Agree 100%.
And this is one last statement from Michael Daniels. He goes, my reason for becoming a TC is helping people. Also, Google has given me free stuff for years, and this is my way of giving back. I enjoy helping people. That is why I co-found User to User.
Yes.
So thank you very much, and it makes a lot of sense to me. That's why I established Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties, and that's why the spirit of what we're doing here is going to carry on and live on. So thank you very much, and we're going to be wrapping up the program. I make the apology, and I do have one last one at the end of this. I make the apology that I could not keep up with the comment streams from the various resources very well, but I am going to go afterwards. I'm going to go over and read through all the comments, and I'll answer anything and comment on anything that I can. And before I even hang up the phone here, so to speak, I want to do one thing. I want to capture the chat in YouTube, because I don't know when it disappears, but when I stop this program, I know it's gone. So let's see. Hang on now. Bear with me. Okay, I captured it. So anyway, that one minor mission is accomplished, and I'll be able to read through the comments in YouTube and see how it differed from the comments in the event page in Google+. And with that, I want to thank everybody for being with me today, and the rest of my constituents in the green room. And I had a great conversation. We'll have more to come. Next week, we'll launch the additional subjects as we expand this conversation out and escort Hangouts into its new era. So thank you very much, and that's Roland and Molly and Andrew signing off from Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.